Hey, good morning. Happy Monday to you. I am Jessie with Simply Refreshing Life, and I'm super excited for this week. I have some really nice, really interesting things to share with you, and just something that God put in my heart to share with you also. I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna talk about what to do when life throws you a curveball. Um, I think we all have experienced situations in our lives when everything is going as planned, and you think, okay, I'm fine. I'm doing this right. I'm doing something right, and then all of a sudden, your plans just collapses, and and life threw you a curveball. And what are you going to do? And how to face these things with a positive attitude. I think that when we have a positive attitude, it changes everything. It can even change the outcome. It can change how we feel and how we see things, rather than having a negative attitude or just a complaining attitude. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. But before that, let me just do a little housekeeping here. I do have a Facebook group. It's called Loving Your Imperfect Self. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that self-care, it's a big part of my life. It's something that I am very passionate about, and something that I talk about constantly in my group, in my Facebook, in Instagram, and everywhere, because I just think it's so important to love ourselves and to take care of ourselves. And so I am very passionate about that. And so that's why I have this group. It's called Loving Your Imperfect Self. This week, I decided, because of what's going on in my life, to talk about organizing. I am not, okay, I am not the most organized person in the whole wide world. I think my husband is very organized. I am not quite as organized. I always say that I have my organized mess. I have way too many things sometimes going on at the same time, but in the same token, I know exactly what's going on. But organizing myself has helped me, um, you know, to make transitions better, to just do things better. So in my own way, I have organized myself. And when I moved to a different house, and doing things. So this week we're going to talk about organization, and I'm going to give you some tips that I have followed. If you are like me, that like to hold on to things, I more of an artist. I love arts and crafts. I have a lot of things going here, and I have found a way to organize my things without them looking like a real and horrible mess. If you see the background in my desk, you see a little bit of it. You see my two Bibles, and then over here you see that I have my paints. So these are my watercolor paints, and I have them organized in this little pencil box or pencil holder thing, just because I wanted to have access to them when I'm painting, and I have access to my colors, so I just turn it around. Of course, I have scissors and other things there too. Things like that. I'm going to be talking about in my group how to get organized. So I went from a big walk-in closet to a smaller wall closet, and I had to really get creative in that closet because I didn't want to get rid of a lot of clothes. I did get rid of some, but not all of them. And so I got some hacks that I want to show you. So if you are interested in that, head over to the group. The link for the group is the description of this video. Or you can just search it yourself if you like. Loving Your Imperfect Self. Everybody's welcome. And we're going to start today why it's important to be organized. and also, I'm going to be giving you some organizational tips. So I hope you join me today. I also have a mindset course or challenge. I'm giving that for free. God gave me that information a while ago, and I recorded it, and I actually did like a live mindset challenge in that time. And so all those videos are recorded, and I'm giving it to you for free. So it takes about 6 days, and to reset your mindset from a negative or from a sad mindset to a positive and outgoing mindset. So I hope you join me for that. The link for that is also in the description of this video. So it's really easy. The videos are about 20 minutes, between 15 and 20 minutes long. It's not that long, and it will make a difference in your life. Guys, I have people done this challenge and write me back and just give me really positive feedback about the difference that it has made in their life. So don't put it aside. We all need sometimes a reset in our challenge. My hair is acting up today. I don't really like it. So yeah, do that. It's free. I mean, if you can spare 20 minutes of your day to think about what God has for you and reset your mindset, why not do it? So yeah, click on that. All right, let's talk about this. When life throws you a curveball. So let me tell you a story. About 6 years ago, um, during summer, I used to homeschool my kids at that time. And at that time, we wanted to visit Mexico. I am originally from Nuevo León, from Mexico, and my husband is from Mexico City. And we were doing we were going to do a 10-day tour through Mexico. We were going to do 3 cities or 3 places. Nuevo León, we're gonna go to Guanajuato, and then we were gonna go to Mexico City and then come back home. And we were looking into Airbnbs. We were doing looking into airfare, and then maybe buses within the city. We didn't know exactly how that was going to work out. And we had savings for that trip because we've been wanting to do that trip since I don't know when. And everything was going well. Everything was working out well. I was talking to a friend in Mexico City who was telling me, it's better if you stay in this one, in this area, rather than this one. And, we were like talking about it. And all of a sudden, one day, actually, I went to a birthday party at a park. And I was at the birthday party and I got an email, not a text, an email from my husband saying, hey, when you get a chance, I don't have a phone, he said, just come home. And I was surprised of that because, first of all, he would have called me or texted me, but he didn't. He sent me an email, which was very, very strange. And of course, in the phone, if you have a smartphone, you get emails on your phone, right? And I thought, that's weird that he's sending me, an email. And I was worried. So I called, and of course, there was no answer. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope everything is fine. So then I gathered my kids, and the party was almost winding down. So we left, and I said, something's up because Daddy's not texting me, not answering my phone call, but he's emailing me. And when I got home, he was sitting in the living room, and he said, I've been let go. And I was like, well, he's been working for this company since before we got married. He started working for this company even before we met, actually. And he was a temp for a while, and then he was hired. And I'm talking 1997, 1998. When I met him in 98, he was already working for this company, and he was getting ready to go back to school to get his bachelor's degree in 1998. He had an AA, and he wanted to get his bachelor's in marketing and business. And the company was actually paying for that. So he, all through our dating period, we dated for about 2.5 years. He was in school, and so he was very dedicated. And so when we got married, he was working for this company, and we went on a honeymoon. He was working for this company. We had our 3 kids, and he was working for this company. And so then one day they said, we have eliminated your position. Thank you very much. You can go now. And he was in shock because he was almost there for a little bit over 20 years. And they just all of a sudden let him go. And he was devastated. And, he was escorted out. And, he felt, he just felt like really, really sad. And that was the major curveball that we have been thrown at. Our marriage was strong enough. It didn't suffer through this situation. our our life as a family, our family, you know, together or unity was not affected as well, but we were shaken in the financial side. All of a sudden, we had to cancel the trip because obviously there was no more funds for the trip, and we started, living out of savings. And of course, they gave them the severance, the money that they usually give them at the end, but we it was a really tough time. So then, he started looking for a job, and he's like, it's not going to last too long. At that time, he already had finished his master's in business. He did it when Vicky was very, very little. And so we're like, okay, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it's not going to last that long. Well, guys, it lasted over 4 years. He had little jobs here and there, temp jobs, but temp jobs were like 3-4 months, and then again unemployment. And unemployment was not enough for us to survive. It was not enough to pay our house. We lived in California at the time, and at the time there was a program that was called Keep Your House California, which I think doesn't exist anymore, as far as I understand. And we only used it for a couple months. We didn't want to use it too much because we knew we had to pay that money back at one point, and so we didn't want to use it a lot. And we had to borrow money, which was very humiliating, from family and friends. Asking for money, it's never a good thing, in my opinion. And so we were in a situation where we were really, it was really tough. It was really tough. But there was, several things that we learned. And Jeremiah 29 says that God has a plan for you. And we knew that God had a plan for us. We knew that the season we were going through, it wasn't going to last forever. And we also knew that God was going to provide for us. And God did provide for us all the time. We never went without food or shelter or clothing. We learned how to administer our money better. We learned to depend on God 100%. And we learned many lessons in the thing. Sorry, I forgot to take out the sound on my phone. Sorry about that. John 16:33 says that God will give you supernatural peace. And that is so true. In the middle of the storm, we felt peace. Even when employers were saying no or ghosting my husband, because that was another thing. He will go for interviews and he will, do all these things. And then all of a sudden he didn't hear anything. They will ghost them. They will not answer his emails or his messages. They would just be silent. But we had peace, and we couldn't even explain it. It was hard for others to understand. We got a lot of, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're going through this, you must be devastated." We also got a lot of messages, "Well, he should get an Uber. Your husband should, just work at whatever, comes, just to make money." And, we got a lot of suggestions. And we knew we were going through a tough situation. And trust me, he did look into all those things, and just nothing worked out. But we did have supernatural peace. When we decided to trust God and not anything else, supernatural peace was present in our hearts. Exodus 14:14 says that he will fight for you. And he was fighting for us. And I could feel it, because we didn't like anything. And then Romans 8:18 says, none of these trials will compare to what will be revealed to us. So all this to say is, God has a plan for all of us. And we did see the hand of God and everything. At about 4 or so years after unemployment, we couldn't do anything. And instead of us losing our house, we decided to sell it. And so we sold the house and we moved here to Utah. We've been here for 4 years now. 4 years. So this has been a while back. I thought it was 6, but it's actually been 8 years. And And coming here was not easy either. We had to, we didn't know anybody or anything, but we started seeing God's hand just with us. And at the time, my husband got a job at a calling center. He was making very, very little money, but it was enough for us just to be okay. And now he has a wonderful job. He just kept trusting in the Lord. And nothing that we went through compares to what we're gonna see when Jesus comes back. And we still have the peace. We still rely on God for everything. With the lessons we learned at that time, we hold on to those. And we go through life, we have plans. And I did a video 2 weeks ago, I think, of what happens when plans don't work out. If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube, you can find it there. And that links with this. When life throws curveballs at you, it's always going to happen. But facing them with the Word of God next to you, knowing what this wonderful book says, you will be able to face these curveballs or these changes better, because that, like Jeremiah 29:11 says, that God has a plan for you, plan to prosper, plans for you to be okay, not the other way around. And you will know that if you don't open this book and read what God's promises. You will know that God is fighting for you, like Exodus says. You will know that He can give you peace. And because you won't open this book. If you open the Bible and read God's promises, you will see that manifested in your life as well. I hope this blessed you today, and I hope my story blessed you today. God, anything that happens to us doesn't take God by surprise. God doesn't go like, oh man, I wasn't seeing this happening, so oh well, she's on her own or he's on her own. That's just not the way God operates. Okay, He knows what's going to happen. He knows it, and He even said, in this life you will have trials, you will have problems, you will have tribulations, but take heart, because I have overcome all this. I have overcome the world, and that alone is just so comforting to know, like, okay, I know I'm going to have trials. I know life is not going to be easy, but God has overcome. God has fought for me, and He will give you the solution, and He will give you peace. And sometimes, guys, the solution or the outcome might not be what we want. Like we saw with my brother, we were all hoping and praying that he will be healed, but instead he was called to the presence of God and he passed away. And that was not the outcome we all wanted, and we still miss him so, so much. But in the middle of it all, we have peace that God, gives us. And I can't even explain it, but I do. And I miss him, yes, but I know that he's in a better place, and I know that he's doing well with no pain and no scars, no nothing. And that is very comforting to me, and I know that I will see him one day again. You won't be able to experience this peace unless you believe in Jesus as your Savior. You won't be able to experience all these promises unless you open this book, this wonderful book right here, and read about it, and then take it as your own. God can give you the peace you're looking for. All you need to do is believe. God bless you, and I will see you again on Wednesday. Bye.